A lot of you guys out there saying that all this luxury stuff all taken away from camping. But what do you call camping? I got that question for you. What do you call camping? It's all automatic. Like this will stop automatically, okay? When it gets to the right tension, it will stop. One of the main reasons, guys, I went for such a setup like this after trying many different awnings, rooftop tents, etc. Particularly over the years with some of the tents that I've owned and the amount of work involved in setting them up and the time, it was nothing, 20 odd years ago to spend half an hour just to set up a tent. And by the time you had to set up, you were just exhausted. I can remember the days when I had these old canvas tents that used to take hours upon hours, literally, to set up. I remember the tarps. We used to carry the tarps. We used to carry something like 10 or 12 heavy galvanized poles, about 20 bits of ropes, and used to buy these heavy duty tarps, and they were quite expensive at the time. And it's only up until recently, before I came across the 270 degree awnings, I was still using those types of tarps. But I think camping now, the technology has changed for the better. So let's talk more about that. As I mentioned, it used to be common knowledge that it'll take you like 2 hours, roughly, I can recall, to set up camp. And that was like the norm. We never complained about it, we accepted it. If you wanted to go camping, you had to take your big canvas tents, etc. So as you can imagine, the technology has changed for the better, by far. Hasn't taken anything away from camping. A lot of you guys out there saying that all this luxury stuff, all taken away from camping. But what do you call camping? I got that question for you. What do you call camping? For me, camping is going to the destination. Find a nice beautiful spot. For example, let's say we were camping here, right on the banks of the river. Sure, you can go to your 4-star, your 5-star resorts, etc. if you want to, and a lot of you prefer to do that, which is fine. So to me, camping is not about going to a campsite, spending an hour, 2 hours setting up camp. Okay, camping is about the journey, the destination, to go to these places, all right? To go to a beautiful location, similar to what you see here, where there's no one around, and be able to set up camp in a nice secluded area away from the people. But it can also mean you could go to a camping ground or caravan park, say the Gold Coast or Sunshine Coast, in the middle of your school holidays. That's also camping there as well. It doesn't mean that if you go to some of these awesome gear that they have now, it doesn't mean it's taken away from camping. It's actually adding to camping. It's making it more enjoyable. So that's my take on it. So today's video, we're going to show you a little bit, a hint of how quick it is with this setup to pull up somewhere and have this set up and out of a nice comfortable chair, hardly putting any sweat out. Now today, a really good example, we had a decent bit of rain just before and the sun has come out, so it's really steamy and hot. In fact, this is quite amazing. We're kind of in the middle of October, and normally we don't get this type of heat here. We've been getting a lot of storm and rain of late. As you can see, it's starting to green up quite nicely around here. So what I'm going to show you is something to do with that. I've had awnings in the past that up until recently, there's quite a bit of effort to set up. So what I mean by that, you had to pull up. Quite often you needed more than one person to set them up, particularly if there's any breeze around. Even with this little bit of breeze we've got right now, you need an extra person. Otherwise you had to wait. And then if you pulled over the side of the road somewhere, like a lot of rest stop areas, and they got bitumen, really solid, concrete ground, you cannot put these awnings out because they need their poles. They need to be pegged down. Not only do they need poles, they need to be pegged down. And some of them, yes, a lot cheaper. But to me, when I had those type of awnings, I never used them that much for those reasons. Now, some of you would have seen, I've got the Ostrich Wing awning. So you know all about that by now. If you don't, just go back on my channel and have a look. I've done a few videos on the Ostrich Wing awning. And I've been very happy with it. And I've owned it for quite a while now. So I thought it's time to do a few videos on it. Hence today we've got another one on it. But today I want to show you, for example, let's say we're driving along. Say that's just the highway over there. And we're driving along and we pull up a nice rest area, and it just so happens to have a beautiful lookout like so. It's a really hot day like it is now, and that's another thing too. When it's really hot, that's another thing too. By having a setup like this, you can actually save a few dollars. So for example, last year in those really hot days, I recently bought the Travel Buddy. And why I had that in mind, the Travel Buddy, as you're aware, is a 12-volt oven. So I pull over somewhere a couple of hours before I want to have a meal, and I'll whack in some sausages or whatever, or heat up some pizzas, whatever you got. Okay, put them in there, and then pull up at a rest stop area, and then have your coffee, brew your coffee, heat up there. Your meal's already heated up, have your lunch, then go. Well, that didn't really pan that well, apart from winter time. But when it's hot and rainy, then you got an awning that needs to be pegged down, okay? And it's so much work to do to set them up. Oh, bugger it. And then you just pull over to a cafe somewhere and end up having a meal, and it ends up costing you more money. So it didn't really work that well. So that's when I started realising that I need an awning, even though it's going to weigh a bit heavier. And that's one of the main reasons why I never went for one of these awnings earlier on, is because of that little bit of extra weight. But sometimes you got to accept the weight. Sometimes there's weight that is worthwhile taking extra and then saving it elsewhere for the convenience of a quick setup, something like this. Now, I've owned this the short while. When I say I probably owned it for about 4 months now, I would have owned my last 270 degree awning for about 3-4 years. In 4 months, I've used this awning more than I ever have with that other awning, because of the time it takes to set up and pack down, and because in summertime you pull up at a rest area, the ground's too hard, you cannot peg the pegs out, and it's quite a bit of an effort. So these freestanding 270-degree awnings, particularly when you get something of this quality, now guys, there's a few of them around. If you have a look and you do your search, you can get them from $1,000 plus. Now, this is something where you get what you pay for. As far as I'm concerned, the Ostrich Wing is the best one out there. Now, there is another one that I think would be equivalent, but I don't know if it's got as good as canvas as what this one is. From my research, what I've been looking around, the Ostrich Wing 270-degree freestanding awnings use the heaviest canvas of all of them. And I've found that an advantage, because when you've got a freestanding awning, one big hassle you're going to have when you can't not adjust certain heights of the poles, like one section higher, another section lower, as I was able to with the last 270-degree awning I had, you're going to get a lot of water pooling. And not just a bit, it's quite a fair bit, guys. But I've found with this Ostrich Wing awning, if you go back where I tested out in a storm, just down there, not far down there, probably about 1 kilometre down that way, where I tested it out in a storm, you can see I had no problems with water pooling. I had a certain amount of water that started to pool, but then once it's got to that stage, the water just ran off because it didn't stretch. It did not stretch like all the other awnings. I've been amazed at some of the awnings that I've owned over the years, just how much they stretch with a little bit of water in them. There are awnings around that you can't even use when they're raining or there's a storm around. So what use are they? So guys, when you spend a little bit extra, they are exy, but when you spend a little bit extra, this is the kind of some of the performance and the features you get with it. So today's video, I want to do like a scenario to cover exactly what I mentioned. Warm sunny day, we'll pull up. I want to show you how quick I can get this awning out and start making a coffee. So let's do that now. So we've pulled up. We're in an awesome nice little spot. If it's raining, you put the flap up. So I've already got the cover out. I don't know how long that took. Didn't take long. I've got my coffee machine here. Grab a pod. So we got the pod out. Let's grab our cup. Got the cup. Turn coffee machine on. Let's go to our espresso shot and brew one espresso. Grab some milk. Just excuse me back, guys. Espresso shot's already done. So let's do the milk. Now, the milk's been done. Now meanwhile, you're probably still in line waiting to get served for your cappuccino. Alright? In case you're wondering, I'm using the Nespresso Creatista Pro. I've got this awesome little table here that I can use. Guys, the wind has really picked up really strong. There's a prime example when you get quality. You can see this is hardly moving at all. Now I've only used about 2% out of the battery. So that milk is all done, heated up and frothed up. Now we just pour this out. All the cleaning we got to do is just wipe that nozzle, go through a self-cleaning mode. And there you go. That's your nice cappuccino. So all you do is have your cappuccino, fold this up. It's just as quick to fold up as it is to set up, and continue on with your drive. Now, if you got a travel buddy or something like that, you just open it up and have your meal. In my case, I've got a 240 volt air fryer oven in the vehicle, which is about 4 times to twice faster cooking than what a travel buddy is. I can cook the sausage rolls in there in about 15-17 minutes, and these are the jumbo ones, guys. So if I was using the small party ones, they'd cook a lot quicker. Whereas in a travel buddy, you'd be looking an hour and a half, 2 hours from frozen. This is from frozen because I've got a freezer in here as well. So I have the stuff like that frozen. So it doesn't matter the conditions, what it's like. It could be raining, it could be stormy, be windy, could be sunny, could be a hot day. I can pull over as quick as this and have a cuppa ready in no time whatsoever. And a good cuppa at that too, guys. These coffees this Nespresso Creatista Pro makes is better than most of the coffee you get at your cafes. Nice and strong. I tell you what, if you got one of these Nespresso, guys, go to Coles or Woolies and keep an eye out for these Starbucks. This Italian roast, strength number 11, super strong, very strong. Probably a little bit too strong, but if you're traveling on the road and you got a long drive ahead, there's nothing better than pulling up every so often and having a strong coffee. In my case, cappuccino. You could also make it a latte macchiato. I love saying that. Always look for any excuse to say latte macchiato. Beautiful. Cheers, guys. That's beautiful. Nice cup of coffee. So that's the advantage of a quick setup like this, something that's sturdy. You don't have to worry too much about the conditions. Even if it's raining, you saw how quick it is to set up. And of course it's fully waterproof, heavy duty canvas, and solid. Very rare I've ever had to put the poles down. The only times I do put the poles down is overnight, just in case you get some freakish storm that happens to come through. You don't want to take any risks. Although, if you go back to a video I posted about 2 or 3 days ago, and have a look there, and you'll see how this handles the conditions. And in fact, I'll put a link to that video at the end of this YouTube clip, this video here. Now I've got some really good quality sausage rolls and meat pies in there. I don't know about the meat pies. Would you believe I haven't cooked the meat pie inside that air fryer oven thus far? Because I'm not a real big meat pie eater. But I do have some nice frozen meat pies in there. But also got these really good, nice sausage rolls that I've picked up just uptown, and they're frozen. And they'll probably only take about 17 minutes to cook up. So while I'm heating this up, as soon as I arrived, I could have had those sausage rolls in there, and they'd be ready in 15-17 minutes. Otherwise, you could pull up beforehand and have it cooking while you're driving along. You'll get the benefit of that nice smell. How awesome that would be. So guys, I'm going to finish this cappuccino off. Now if I wanted to be a little bit more luxury, I could have grabbed the chair out. I've got a chair there that doesn't take me long to set up. So, in fact, we might do that, eh? Let me grab this chair. Now you would have seen this chair before. I've done a review on this, and it's a Nemo, and you'll have to go back to my videos, guys, because for the life of me I cannot remember what it's called. I know it's a Nemo luxury recliner chair, something like that. So you can see how quick this is to set up. And it's a very comfortable chair. Check this out, guys. Hopefully you can see me. All right. So why it's called a luxury reclining chair? Look at that. So it mimics one of those really comfortable hammocks. And it's got the drink holder. It's got a holder to put your phone in as well. And it's got arms to easily get up out of it. So I'm going to finish off this cappuccino. And I'm going to show you how quick this is to pack away. I can't tell you how nice that cappuccino was, guys. So I had that cappuccino, and then I had a bit of a rest just sitting down, listening to the birds. I had a little butcher bird came up to me. I could practically touch it. Don't worry, I didn't give it any food. I've got no food here. Although I do have some sausage rolls and meat pies and chips, and what else I got in there? I can't recall. I even got some bread rolls in the freezer. And in the fridge, I've got a few drinks there as well. So I'm all set up for camping, actually, guys. So that's the beauty with this setup. It's practically almost always set up for camping. At any time, I could just jump in the car and drive off. So we're going to pack this up now. So let's pretend we just finished traveling. So I'm going to put this away. This basically just folds in on its own. Now this does come with a bag, guys, but it's a ridiculous bag. You're never going to fit this stuff back in the bag, so you're better off to go and buy an aftermarket bag for it. But what I do is I just loosely keep it folded, and I just put it on the floor behind the driver's seat. So it's got the collapsible legs. Now I've got other chairs that are quicker to set up, but they do tend to take up a little bit more room when they're packed up. You can see how compact this is, and I like it for its comfort. So I don't mind spending a little bit extra time packing this away because of the comfort. So now that that's done, so we're almost ready. We've got a big drive ahead of us. Don't forget, drop the awning. What I love about this, not only is it so quick to set up, I love how it's only got one buckle here to worry about, not the two. And it's a buckle that you hook in, not Velcro. Generous size bag. So this loose section here, all you do is just push it up as you go along. Good heavy duty zip. And that's it. As quick as that. So that's quicker than stopping at a cafe, McDonald's or somewhere like that, and a lot cheaper too. So thanks for watching. Not only should you subscribe, put a notification, click on that notification bell, guys. That way anytime I put a post up. Also check out the community tab section of my YouTube channel. I update there with some of the videos that's coming out soon, some of the images where I am at the time. If I'm driving around, traveling somewhere, I sometimes put a photo up there and say, hey, check out this place. Video coming up soon, or check out this new device or new item, video coming soon. So guys, so if you put a notification, if you click on that little bell icon, notification when you subscribe, that you will get notified each time a video or comment that's posted. So again, as always, if there's any questions, just ask below, and look after yourself, guys. Till next time, cheers. Go camping.